Hello and welcome back to Roads Yet Traveled. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after spending some time with Rowan, Cass, and Milo, playing some board games. And although poor Milo was stuck with Tucker, he seemed pretty okay with it, and everyone had fun, even though Cass was being like a little bit of a butthead still. But even then, he kind of seemed okay with Tucker and everything like that. I mean, I could just be reading into it, but perhaps this is the start of the gang being an actual thing, meaning Rowan, Tucker, and Milo and Cass. Speaking of Milo and Cass, did you guys get any hints of something? Also, Rowan seeming to start getting a little bit more closer to Tucker, which was kind of obvious since they become roommates, that it went from being like, oh, you're my roommate now, oh, to being like, yeah, you're my friend and you're my roommate and I care really, really a lot about you. And here's my paw. Play with it a little. They've gotten way more playful lately. That's what I'll say. But there were some questions asked about the future of Tucker. What does he want in life? Because in reality, he's stuck in the space station. There really is no future for him. And that's something that is still going to be weighing heavily on Tucker's mind and maybe even on Rowan's mind. Because, in reality, what can Tucker do? Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what happened. Pretty much. So without further ado, let us, I believe, finish out this update. And it's going to be a doozy, so yeah. Day 26. Rowan said that I should probably stay back today, and I can't get a hold of Milo. I guess it's just another day of walking up and down the halls. It's exercise at least. Kinda. I wonder if... There was a gentle knock on the door, one that I'm worried that I already know the owner of. One that didn't message me ahead of time. Again. Rhyss? Ah, good morning, Comet. How are you today? Fine, I suppose. Bit bored. Didn't you, forget something? I say, putting plenty of emphasis where it's needed. Have I? He responds in a worryingly genuine tone, quickly checking his pockets. Rhyss, I asked you to message me before showing up like this. I thought you knew that. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I do intend to warn you in advance in the future. But, well, this meeting was not as premeditated as I would have liked it to be. I don't think that you should use that word like that. Why not? Never mind. But, what do you mean by that? Perhaps it's best to be explained on the way. Are you free to be my guide today? I suppose. Cautious of a sudden change in tone, I'm suddenly not quite sure I would like where today might be headed. That's wonderful. Now, if you don't mind getting ready, that would be greatly appreciated. We have a meeting to attend. With... Yeah, give me a tick. I say before slipping back inside, door deftly shutting behind me. Either Karain are hardwired to be esoteric and mysterious, or I've just gotten lumped in with the worst of them. It's probably a bit of both. Quickly throwing on my jacket, I send a message to Rowan letting him know that I'm going to be out for a bit before stepping back outside. Well? Ah, I appreciate your expediency, Comet. Shall we away? After you. He silently nods before gliding off, leaving me to follow in tow. Walking familiar halls, we turn off, heading in a direction that I'm not sure that I've been before. The walls seem ever so slightly cleaner, and the floor just barely less buffed by use. Rhyss, as ever, stares forwards, leading us silently. So, can it be explained now? Where we're headed. You said that you'd explain on the way.
Ah, of course. My apologies, Comet. This was dropped on me as much as it was you. I've been abuzz with work since this morning and, well, a few things have fallen through the cracks.
Even now, ever cautious, it's still hard to deny how genuine he sounds when he apologizes. So...
We have a meeting with the director, that is all.
Tyr?
Yes, I believe you two are acquainted.
Something like that. And here I thought the pit in my stomach could only go so low. I guess that makes sense though. Of course, Socknose would want to check in with Tyr. Although, I figured that would have been the first thing that they did. Why wait?
I've yet to meet him myself, although I have read much about him. Tell me, what is he like?
Assuming the breadth of knowledge Socknose has on me, I feel that it's safe to assume Rhyss is well aware that Tyr and his works are probably the sole reason that I'm here. And yet... well, he's very dedicated. Although I'm yet to tell if that's a good thing or not. His intentions seem to be sensible, if just a bit severe. And he's been mostly kind to me, if not a bit, apprehensive about letting me in on the truth of some matters. So I guess that I'd say that he's determined to a fault. Or something.
For someone who has the impossible challenge of trying to communicate one way, you're a very good judge of character.
Me? Are you sure?
I would not lie.
Well, what do you know about him?
Oh, much more surface-level things. His achievements, his accolades, his failures. He is a very influential figure, you know, or rather he was before secluding himself all the way out here. I can't pretend as though I am not excited to meet him, but I can tell you're holding back in your assessment, and any apprehension to reveal some facet of his being means that there is fault to be found.
Talk about a good read. Well, I meant what I said at least.
I don't doubt it.
What do you think then?
About the director? Well, I do believe that he is a genius, perhaps the best of our generation, though. I've seen what tribulations he's been through, and I cannot but worry that they've blinded him to naught but his goals.
I think that you're the good judge of character here, Rhyss.
I never said I wasn't.
He says in an almost teasing tone.
Still, even with that aired, I do have high expectations for the man, as we all do. It's no easy task carrying the future of Allrain on your back.
Is the Maeron really all that? I mean, out of almost everyone in this system, I alone can attest to what it's capable of. But still.
It is that and more, if Socknose is to be believed.
I know you speak of Socknose, but
I advise you to remember that I am a man before I am a preacher, and a preacher before I am a director. And yet, all three are in alignment. If perhaps at different levels of commitment.
What is it?
Of the many things allotted to me with my new position, that knowledge still eludes me. Well, the specifics perhaps. It's an engine in its most simple form. One that has no record of who made it, nor an explanation on how it works. I am sure that there are documents detailing those somewhere, yet somehow I am not privy to them. I doubt many are.
That's about all I know too.
I am not one to speculate or fall into conjecture, but I do know this. It is a gift. One that, whether God sent or not, we must use to raise all Alrain together.
Noble rhetoric, if not a bit demanding. Or perhaps desperate. If Socknose knows so much about this thing already, then why bother coming all the way out here to check on it? Isn't Tyr under your direct employ as it is? Couldn't he just report back?
Some things are just best done in person. Besides, you are proof enough that Socknose doesn't know quite as much about this machine as I am sure that they'd like to seem that they do. A checkup is well within order.
I guess that's fair. He did mention that he came out here to meet with me as well, so... Although I do suddenly feel as though I've come as some sort of packaged bundle with a Maeron. What has Tyr done anyways? You mentioned that he has accolades and such. I don't really know what that means beyond his work with the Maeron. Oh, and what he's done with neurals.
Well, those could be considered one and the same, but yes, that is chief amongst his works.
How so?
From what I understand, which may not be much, that is how the machine is run, through a complex network of mesh of neurals, or something of the like. I'm sure that he'll be more than happy to explain the specifics if we were to ask, but as it stands, it seems as though most of his developments on that front are a mere byproduct of trying to get the Maeron to work.
That's pretty astounding. Although, considering that I've heard just about how well the Maeron runs, it must be frustrating as well, I'm sure.
It is yet to be seen, but yes, I can imagine that it is quite a daunting task. Although to his credit, his dedication has never been in doubt. To think one could rise from such tragedy and still accomplish so much. Truly, I see why he was the face of Socknose for as long as he was.
That doesn't really answer my question, and it seems as though we're still dancing around the context. Perhaps it's time to fill out my card. What tragedy? You mentioned that he had certain failures, but tragedy is different. Unless these words are one and the same in Korean.
They are not. What do you know of our company's history?
That's quite vague, Rhyss.
Of the Icaroid, then?
I'm aware of what happened to the previous station. Only in uncertain terms, though.
Well, in no uncertain terms, it was a tragedy. One that the professor is lucky to have avoided. Or perhaps... no.
Biting his tongue, I excuse a small pause and push another angle. He avoided it? How?
He was off-world at the time. Exactly where I am unsure, but he survived nonetheless.
Did anyone else survive?
There were a few who made it out. None unscathed.
A silent prayer is whispered in reverence and memory as we turn a dark corner, elevator looming at the end of the hall.
He was a scientist of renown before the incident, of course, but after, well, he certainly earned his reputation. He was one of the few people left who knew how to safely deal with what was left of the station, let alone what to do with the hazardous remains. And once Socknose was formed, he was quickly voted to head it.
He was the head of Socknose?
Yes, for a time. Although whether out of grief or stress, he relinquished the position and went into seclusion for some cycles, only reappearing once the Icaroid 2 was nearly complete. He was never formally removed from the board, but his position was amiably handed over to the new director, who's always been more than happy to let him continue his work.
I can only imagine how different Tyr's perspective on that sentence would be, but I think that can wait for now. Stepping into the considerably nicer elevator, Rhyss presses the bottom button as the doors close and we descend.
But now is not the time to languish in the past. The future is bright, Comet. I can see it.
Tomorrow shall forever come, yeah?
Indeed.
Relinquishing a soft smile, he flattens out his uniform as the doors open, stepping into a dark but clean hallway. Last question before we head inside, if you don't mind.
You are free to ask as many questions as there are stars. But yes, what is it?
What do you want from it? The Maeron, all of this. Not exactly taken aback, but perhaps stunned nonetheless, he pauses, eyes slowly fixating on the ceiling. Looking towards the eye, or perhaps just lost in thought. The semantics don't matter.
Hope.
Huh?
I want to be able to give those who have lost it hope. The hope that tomorrow may finally be better than the last. It is torrential, Comet, the tides of time. Whether it is wanted or not, tomorrow will come, and we can only hope that it is better than the last. I want for that the ability to give hope to the people of Alrain.
And the Maeron can do that?
Perhaps, or perhaps it is nothing more than a faulty piece of machinery. But I must say, it has already inspired hope in one Karain. I am certain that it can do it again.
He smiles, almost winking at me before walking off as effortlessly as ever. Suddenly stunned myself, I have to shake out of it to catch up, lest I be left out in the cold again. Arriving at a sealed door, Rhyss pulls out an innocuous keycard and swipes it against an adjacent terminal. Nothing happens at first, until a low groan is heard and locks begin to disengage. A lot of locks. Stepping inside, we find ourselves in a small lobby of some kind. There's a couple of researchers who turn our way with stunned looks, but only one deigns to approach us. You're the new director, correct?
Indeed, Director Rhyss Dino, but you may call me Rhyss.
Right. Are you, expected?
We are, in fact.
Of course. They say with no small amount of side-eye my way. The professor is dealing with something at the moment, but I can let him know that you're here if you'd like.
Yes, thank you. Do let him know that I'll be waiting.
A bit skittish, the scientist nods before heading off. I hadn't noticed, but the rest of the room has cleared out as well. Finding his way to the center of the room, Rhyss gestures for me to take the seat next to him as he delicately lounges on the couch.
It is a shame that they all left. I would have loved to hear what they were talking about. I'm still not quite used to that yet. The fear that I seem to invoke when I walk into a room. I don't think that it sits well with me. I'm grateful for my position as a director, but I am not used to people being afraid of me. I don't like to think that I'm scary, Tucker. I'm a shepherd. People should be free to approach me and ask me for help. They still are, of course, it's taking some getting used to.
I hadn't thought about that, and the more that I think about it, the more that I see what he means. Fuck, even I was afraid when I met him. He even asked as such. I don't think that you're scary, not anymore. But the mantle that you carry, whether it be by your title or your vestments, they both carry some preconceived baggage. Even before you arrived, we weren't afraid of you specifically, just the notion of Sokno's interference in general. Before we even met you, we had ideas about who you'd be, none of which turned out to be true, of course, but still.
Perhaps in time I can make a name for myself, one that doesn't carry such weight.
I think no matter what you call yourself, your name carries weight now, Rhyss. It might just matter how you use it. Falling deep in thought, he turns away, cutting the conversation there. I don't mind, I just hope that I didn't say anything to offend him. Not that I'm sure that I even could. Taking out my monitor, I flip it on, only to see that I am well out of range of any connection. Didn't have any last time, and it's not like they set up a router in the time that I've been gone. Wasn't exactly a great time either. Well, at least I'm not wandering around by myself this time. The sound of a door draws both of our attentions as someone walks into the room. Rhyss, ever proper, stands to greet them, and in no short order, I can tell who it is.
Director?
Director. It's been some time since I've said that. It's nice to finally meet you.
Likewise.
Well, I'm sorry about the wait. We finally finished the repairs on the Maeron, and I've been doing some final checks on it. Oh, I won't bore you with the specifics.
You could hardly such. Perhaps we could speak more about it somewhere more appropriate?
Of course, my office is just this way.
Excellent. Tucker?
Tucker? I guess that I was slouching too much for him to even notice me. Making my way over to Rhyss's side, I can see immediately that there's some trepidation in Tyr's muzzle. I was unaware that we were going to have guests, Director. Only the slightest bit of venom loosed in his tone.
Ah, well, I bumped into Tucker on the way here and asked if he could guide me, seeing as I hardly know the station myself.
Right. Did he just lie? I kind of figured that he couldn't do that. Will he be staying out here during our meeting, or... I'm sure Sognos has asked us to discuss some, well, sensitive topics.
He knows what the Maeron is, Director.
Of that I am certain. But that's hardly the beginning of it. Certainly you must understand.
I'm not sure I do.
He lets out an annoyed huff before continuing. I'm sure Tucker has been a great help, but must he be here?
Is there any reason that he shouldn't be?
The word no is stuck right behind his lips. He just doesn't want to say it. I suppose not, Director. But if you would, I still think that this meeting should be as private as it can be.
On that we can agree.
Stepping into a cold yet familiar hallway, we quickly arrive at Tyr's less than welcoming office. As I go to sit, I swear that I catch Tyr giving me a cold stare, only for it to break as I right myself.
What a wonderful office you have, Director Seno. Thank you for inviting us in.
Of course. His tone is no part strained.
Such a shame to have you hidden away in such a dark corner of the station, though. The upper floors seem much brighter, no?
If you'd forgive the impudence, Director, I'd rather not make small talk right now. That mask fell fast. What does Sognos want from me? Unfazed, Rhyss simply clasped his hands in his lap.
Well, many things, I'm sure. But today, just a few updates.
Do you care to be more specific? I wasn't exactly briefed for this meeting.
Yes, and I must apologize. Working around so many schedules is quite challenging, as you can imagine. But yes, questions. I have a short list from the board, and a few of my own, if you don't mind.
He raises a brow but doesn't decline. The board, or...
Why does everyone here seem to think that saying his name will cut one's tongue? Yes, Director Zask personally gave me the list. Well, not in person, but you understand.
Of course. That name again. Seems as though even Tyr isn't unfazed by it.
Now, since we seem to be in no mood for chatter, I'll get to it. How damaged is the Maeron? Is it beyond repair?
It is always just beyond repair. Even you should know that. But to assuage your worries, no. Nothing is more broken than it was before Tucker arrived.
That's a relief. Although you'll have to elucidate me on this. I thought the device that it was housed in was something that we could fix.
To an extent. A small extent at that. There were some proprietary documents that have been lost over the cycles, and without a replacement, we can't fully examine the current one while it is in use.
Ah, of course. So what has been the delay then? This repair has been extensively longer than usual, has it not?
It has. You know something of how the device is run, correct?
Some, but enlighten me.
I swear that I can see Tyr's eyes twitch as he sits there, as close to emotionless as he can. It is of 3 parts. The core, to which there is no replacing. The cage, to which there is no fixing. And the computer, which is my domain. To get everything to work in tandem, a sequence of neurals is used, a mesh, if you will, each being of a very specific design. A drawback to this, however, is that if any of them were to break or for whatever reason go missing, it can take quite a long time to figure out which part is the problem. Not to mention that the time it takes to make a new one. They don't just have replacements on hand. I get that they're more complicated than fuses, but it seems like a bad practice not to have backups.
Did they just go missing?
Eyes to the wall, he turns away, grinding his jaw quietly as he stews on his next words. Neural degradation is common when exposed to such forces as the Maeron radiates. Whether they go missing, or are simply torn into their constituent parts, I cannot say. You are aware of the scale of these devices, correct?
Oh, I am. It was simply a curiosity. So, it's functioning again then. What was wrong in the end?
That was the issue. It was neural degradation, but on an alarming scale. We lost some 60% of the mesh, including about a cycle's worth of research.
I'm sorry?
Tyr curiously eyes me one more time, before capitulating, realizing that I'm not going to suddenly walk out just for his sake. We'd been slowly updating the mesh with some new models that we've been working on, proprietary tech that I won't be getting into. But it seems as though it was all for naught, as most of it's completely lost now. We couldn't even recover any of the data. It all just came out of a garbled mess.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that. Although, can the machine operate with such a loss?
I feel as though Tyr almost cringes at that word. Machine. Yes, it's designed to be able to run safely at as low as 20% of the remaining mesh system. Of course, the output at that point would be minimal. Not that it's particularly impressive even when we're working at full capacity. Well, as far as we can safely run it at least.
Yes, I am vaguely aware of the restrictions placed upon you and your team. What was it that you were allowed? 3%?
2. We're still trying to find a way to safely run it above a 4% of its expected limits. 4? I shake my head, embarrassed that I uttered that out loud, and grateful that it seems like neither of them cared to comment on it.
Hardly room for progress with such restrictions. I'm sure things would be much easier if they weren't there.
His eyes light up, if only for a second.
But I think that we both know the reasons for them.
Only for any remains of a smile to be washed away from his face. I thank you not to lecture me in my office, Director.
Oh, I meant no ill will. My apologies.
He rolls his eyes as Rhyss gives a soft bow of his head. He's clearly done with this meeting, even if it seems that we're not.
So, a personal question if I may. What is the highest that you've managed to get it to run at? Safely, of course.
Well, based on our estimation of output, about 3%.
And what is it at now?
Some minuscule fraction. It's running some standard sequences right now, just to make sure that everything is working as intended.
And that's enough to run all of this?
He gestures to the room, as if through the hole and to the station itself. If that simplifies things, then yes. The solar panels pull their weight, as well as the onboard reactor, but both are supplementary if anything.
And what's the highest that it's ever been recorded, if I may?
That's hard to say.
Oh?
Don't think that I'm playing coy. It's just hard to get any readings past a certain point. Once it closes in at around 4 or 5%, most of our recording devices begin to fail, making it impossible to get any accurate numbers. We've yet to develop a spectrometer that doesn't melt.
So, what's your estimate then?
Oh, right. Well, the highest that we've recorded here was what we think was about 7%, if not slightly less. The mess that made was inexcusable, but informative. The highest that we've ever seen, well... He looks to his right before flattening something on his desk. A photo stand? Has it always been there? I can't quite remember. Mind you, in the past the Maeron has been prone to, well, self-regulating.
I don't follow.
As much as we can tell it what to do, accidents happen, that's all.
Of course. What you're doing is incredibly delicate. It should go without saying that you have the total approval of the board, as well as myself and your work.
Rhyss merely smiles and cocks his head, clearly more suited to politics than I'm sure that he'd like to admit. What did you mean that it self-regulates?
I believe Tucker has a question, if that is all right.
I can see that.
He was curious what you meant when you said that it regulates itself in some way, and I have to admit that I am as well.
If you were privy to that information, you'd already have found it in a document, Director. I'm unsure what more I can say at this point.
Director Seno, I've been on the board for quite a short time, most of which I've been managing my many new responsibilities. If there was some prior knowledge that I should know, I'm sure that I've just not had the time to find it yet. Let me remind you, you're not the only person I'm here to see. And anyways, where could your secrets be safer? You're in your own office with a fellow director and an alien that some 5 people can understand. I see no harm in sharing.
We've never tried to push it beyond what we believe is safe. I truly believe that.
But
it has a habit of, testing those limits.
I don't follow, Director.
We don't know. Usually it maintains a completely steady and stable output, but sometimes it just spikes. It's not to say that we haven't been doing anything these past cycles. We're fairly confident that we could, if need be, safely contain a spike up to around 10%. Not without losses, of course, but predictions show the station would be fine.
Losses being?
Hopefully only machinery and equipment, but we're prepared for the worst.
Well, I'll trust you and your team on that matter. It's not something that I feel confident speaking on.
Loss? Or probably calculations?
Now, I do hate to leave that as it is, but I did have a few questions about some recent expenditures, if now would be a good time for that.
If we must.
We do. I was told that.
As the two of them begin discussing numbers, my thoughts take a moment to congeal, unsure of anything that I just heard. I knew that we were sitting on something impressive, but this? It just sounds ridiculous. Maybe I'm hearing things wrong. If not, though, for them to be struggling with minute fractions of this thing's potential, I'm starting to think that it's not a good idea to mess with it at all. Although, I suddenly remember why the station is so far out in the system. We're just a floating graveyard, ready to be a plot. I just hope Rowan never has to deal with this madness. Wait. No. He already has, hasn't he? There's no way the accident 4 cycles ago could have been anything else. Does he know that? Does anyone? I shouldn't make assumptions. But fuck. What else could it have been? I guess they knew what they were signing up for when they came here, but I don't think that that's fair to assume either. This place is a mess. The more that I learn about it, the more that I kind of wish that I never left that cell. Ignorance, you sweet bitch. Why leave me now? Slowly turning back to the conversation, I pick up that they are still talking about expenses and reports and decide to give them a few more minutes. I really don't understand how something like that can be important when we've got what I can only assume is a temperamental supernova sitting in the basement. At least, I think that's how he described it before, something like that. Mulling over my thoughts, I turn to Rhyss, who seems to be staring expectantly. Yes?
Are you alright, Tucker?
Overwhelmed, perhaps? But yeah, I'll manage.
Alright.
He concedes, clearly deciding to keep some words for another time.
Well, I've only a few more questions for the director, so I won't keep any of us here any longer than we need to. Have you had any thoughts on integration yet? I'm aware that you still describe your whole project as unstable, but that would be the end goal, correct?
You are correct in that, but we're just not ready.
Completely understandable. The board has not pressed on that issue and neither will I. I just like to keep our purpose clear.
Of course.
Is there a timeline? Any sort of, benchmarks that we could expect?
It will go for as long as it takes. The board knows that. They agreed to the terms when I was brought on.
Brought back on?
Semantics. But why? Are they asking now?
Oh, I never said that question was from them. I was merely curious.
Is he trying to piss Tyr off? If so, I must say that I'm impressed. I'm not sure even Bale knows how to get under his skin like this.
So, what progress has been made in the last cycle then?
Either out of spite or aggravation, he simply scoffs and gestures to me. Is that not enough?
No, I don't think it is. Can you replicate it? Can you prove to us that displacing his life was worth it? For us or for him? I worried as much.
Once we can replicate the test, I'll know more. Replacing the neurals is just... It's not a fast process, and we lost a lot of that progress when he showed up. I don't even register that he willingly forgot to use my name again, as Rhyss doesn't give either of us time to breathe.
I understand that to blame the Maeron would be a folly, but just as much, it would be pointless to blame Tucker here. No one expects miracles, Director. We simply wish for them.
Tyr takes a breath, as if he were about to speak only to sigh and deflate, almost apologetically. Wordlessly, of course, though, as is his way.
I have only one more question for you, and that is personal. I must apologize.
You've asked everything else.
Do you enjoy your work?
Excuse you?
Do you enjoy it, Director?
Of course. His sullen eyes, far too tired to find purchase, try to dig into Rhyss, searching for some contrived and illusionary slight. They find nothing. His mask is perfect, unlike the one that he fashions for himself. Of course.
I just worry. It is a heavy burden you carry, this legacy. I do hope that it does not see you undone, as clearly there is much more still to be accomplished.
Stunned, Tyr stares in confusion as Rhyss simply cups his hands and smiles, as he always does. Although, as he seemingly moves to leave, he turns to me and stops.
Oh, I had almost forgotten. Tucker, did you have any more questions for the director here?
Almost feeling bad for the weathered Karain, I bite my tongue. All for about 3 seconds. What happened 4 cycles ago? Did the Maeron cause the accident? Does the crew know?
Oh, I've been curious about that as well. Although perhaps it'd be better to ask with more tact. Aboard my quite lengthy flight here, I was finally given access to some documents that I had requested before my departure. Now, as you've already seen, I clearly still need to dig further into those, but I did find something interesting that I couldn't quite understand. When reviewing a note pertaining to the station's operational history, I noticed a gap in its functioning records a few cycles back. Now, these things happen, but what I was curious about was...
You can stop there, Dino. It's like I said, we're prepared for the worst. Is that all?
I don't think that's for me to decide.
Does the crew know?
Was the crew informed of the cause, or...
Cause and effect are very hard things to place. Was it a hardware malfunction that caused the explosion, or the power surge? Was it the hull splintering, or the aging bolts and screws holding everything together? Was it the damaged bulkheads collapsing, or the ones who gave them clearance? Every person on the station knows why they are here, even if it has not been explicitly stated to them. The specifics wouldn't change anything. It's as you said, Director, to blame the Maeron would be a folly.
Well said indeed. Well, this has been quite informative. Thank you, Director.
Relief and probably some semblance of civility washes over Tyr as he realizes that this meeting is almost over. Getting up, he kindly lays out his paws, to which Tyr lays his above. I need to ask about that sometime.
I do hope that we haven't kept you too long. I know that you've things that you need tending to.
Well, it's not often another director comes and visits. Although I would appreciate more of a warning next time.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
That seems to be a pattern, one that all three of us are confident probably won't change. Stepping into the doorframe, Rhyss reaches into his pocket and stops, turning to Tyr.
Oh, I had almost forgotten. A gift from Maeron.
Cautious yet curious, he holds out his paw, to which a small earpiece is dropped into. What is it?
A translator for our guest.
He gestures to his own. Why did you wait until after the meeting to give me this?
It must have slipped my mind. I am terribly sorry.
Yeah, okay, it's official. Rhyss can lie. Bit worrying, but I'll make of it what I can. Tyr, clearly not interested in furthering our relationship, let alone a conversation, pockets a device for now, stepping out into the halls. The two engage in some slight conversation, mostly carried by Rhyss, but otherwise it's a cold and quiet jaunt. At least his intentions are still clear. It's pretty obvious why Rhyss brought me here today. Although I still don't get what he's getting from all of this. Coming to the main room, a few of the Karain from earlier seem to have reclaimed their spots, politely nodding to us as we enter. Well, I am afraid that I'll have to leave you here for the day, but do let me know if you need anything else, Director.
Of course. May the eye be ever in your favor.
Oh, thank you, Shepard. Smiling, Rhyss turns to leave, graciously dragging us from these confusing depths. Although, whether out of true luck or an act of divine intervention, one of the other scientists approaches Tyr right as we're about to leave. Sir, it's ready to be opened again. Shh. Particle reactor, fusion reactor, whatever it is, I've suddenly come to believe that the Maeron can stop time as the whole room freezes. The only thing that Dane move being the one seemingly above us all, as Rhyss's neck crocks back ever so slightly.
I'm sorry? What was that? Oh my, have you finished running all of your tests?
Not another word.
What marvelous timing. Surely you must be excited to see everything working again.
Ecstatic. As you can see, things are never dull here, so I truly must get back to it, correct?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Please don't hold out on my account.
Very well.
We shan't get in the way at all.
Because you were heading out, correct?
Ah, we were. But with an occasion so rare as this, I don't think that we could afford to miss it.
No.
We'd hardly be a bother, Director. Surely you have viewing platforms or…
I said no, Director. I've already borne the full brunt of your questionable use of the station today, and it ends here.
We both know that neither of us are in a position to deny the other, Director.
I will be having words with the board about this.
I'm sure that he'd love to hear from you. I truly do wish only to observe, and I apologize if I've made things uncomfortable between us. Here, as a favor, perhaps I could tell you something interesting that I've heard.
Silently walking over to the frustrated professor, Rhyss leans over and almost childlike whispers something into his ear. Disbelief, fear, confusion. A menagerie of emotions dance across his face as the sentence unfolds. Eyes wide, he turns to the other Karain in the room and can only scoff. Perhaps we've stepped on each other's tails, Director. I fear as though I've made a bad impression.
Nonsense. These things happen.
Well, I suppose if it was still Jorst who would have shown up, we'd been through half a bottle and screaming at each other right now. I still would advise against this course of action, especially considering that I doubt you intend to leave Tucker out here. But if you must come, there are some rules that I will not bend even for you.
Of course.
There is a viewing chamber, and that will be the only room that I will be allowing either of you to enter. Considering that I will be guiding you, it should not be an issue, but do not wander nor touch anything. And, while I doubt that either of you are hiding a camera anywhere, it should go without saying that some discretion would be appreciated. Although in your case, I'm sure how much that matters. He says clearly in my direction. And, final thing, due to the nature of the Maeron, it's best to leave all of your monitors and other devices out here. It has a bad habit of messing with other machinery.
Ah, so I've heard.
Rhyss pulls out his monitor, placing it in a small tray that Tyr offers us. Putting my own in, I swear the faintest bit of a grin appears on his lips before he puts it to the side. Pride, perhaps? Despite everything, he did do a pretty decent job on my phone. Director, I would suggest that you take your earpiece out. I doubt that it would come out unscathed.
Ah, I have another. I'd rather be able to understand Tucker where he needs something. Plus, this is probably part of my sprite, so you can't exactly remove it.
Of course. Either forgetful or uncaring, he does not take his own out of his pocket. Nodding to his crew, they take off as he gestures us down another corridor. On autopilot, I follow behind, floored at the direction this day has suddenly gone. I expected some answers, maybe a pointed remark or two, but this? Worst of all, what the fuck did Rhyss tell the professor to make his tune completely reverse like that? They're walking in lockstep, so I'm shit out of chance right now, but maybe Tyr will run off at some moment and I can ask. A certain unease sets in as I come to terms with the fact that perhaps foolishly, I put so much trust into the shepherd. He's still not done anything wrong, After that display, I can't help but worry. I shouldn't make assumptions yet though. I've yet to hear what he said. Maybe he just knows an embarrassing secret? Who am I kidding? It's probably just something about the board. Tears become more vocal as we delve deeper into the bones of this place, speaking now in an almost excited tone. It most likely still needs some time to be set up, so there's no rush. The viewing platform isn't far now.
And what differentiates the space from any other down here?
Well, to be curt, not much. It's simply the closest window next to the exit.
I see.
We don't entertain guests often, you understand.
Oh, I do. Holy. I was actually more curious about the safety of the area.
Oh, there should be nothing to worry about on that front, Director.
Is that so? I don't quite understand. Does it not give off harmful emissions?
Well, yes and no. It is deadly for most unprotected machinery, but for flesh and blood? Well, it's technically harmless.
I don't follow.
It's another unfortunate factor that we've yet to make much progress in understanding. But for whatever reason, it seems as though, while we can pick up on many harmful emissions being put out from the core, they fail to affect us.
That's fascinating. And what do you call this discovery?
The Seno effect.
Of course. I'd love to read more on this. Would that be possible?
I'll see what I have on hand. Through here, please.
Coming to a door that would be unassuming, least for all the warning signs on it, Tyr swipes his key and a sharp hissing is heard. Pressure is equalized, the door squeals open and I don't know what I'm looking at. Where is it? Is it the whole room or... Oh, I had seen a few scant images before, but it's smaller than I had imagined.
Yes, most people say that. Well, yes. If it weren't for the cage, it'd almost be portable. Of course, the cage is a necessity. That and the layers of ablative lead plating. So, is it just that floating thing?
I believe so, Tucker. That is the Maeron. Well, its prison, at least.
Sorry if it doesn't live up to the fanfare, Tucker. We oft try to obfuscate as much about it as we can. An easy thing to easily misdirect is its size. Most people expect it to be quite large, for what it can do. I guess size really doesn't matter. In truth, it's even smaller, but that is a bit harder to demonstrate.
Yes, I was curious about that. Your assistant mentioned something that interested me. They mentioned not that it was ready to be turned on, but that it was ready to be...
opened, yes. You'll see soon enough. But just so that you are prepared, do you see that seam running along the outside of the cage? It splits itself into two, allowing us access to the Maeron proper.
Fascinating.
Frustrating is the word that I'd use.
Oh?
Were I given the knowledge on how the device was designed, I would not have made it so. You see, opening it is the easy part. You could walk up to it right now and easily pry the halves of the cage open. But closing it? A different story. My eyes follow his as I notice the imposing arms looming above the platform. Massive rails support the structure as their heads seem to align.
Ah, as it was. One eye opens.
And another closes. I am aware of the paradigm. Pressing against the glass, my eyes shoot down, only to realize how deep the room goes. I can't even see the floor below the platform. Oh, how big is that room? Can you see the bottom, Rhyss? Gently leaning in, his eyes float down, grasping at the nothing below. Tyr, perhaps more attentive than before, catches on before a response can be uttered. If you're looking for the floor, there isn't one. That room is roughly 8 stories high. Trust me, I've lost quite a few pens down there.
May I ask why?
I'm getting old, Director. My hands can be a bit shaky.
Not the pens, Seno. The room.
Oh, well, the emergency protocols, of course.
Those being?
The Maeron, for whatever reason, likes to pull itself down. Now, I understand that we're in a void, and there is no down, but it seems to have made its own, hence our gravity. Always pointing towards the planet, the platform can descend if we feel like it's exerting too much pressure. Think of it as a coolant system, if that helps clear it up.
Another mystery?
Indeed.
What does it look like?
The Maeron? Well, I'm not sure if the cage will open enough to see it, but it's bright.
Like a star?
One could say that.
I'd like to see it.
His voice calm but cold informs us both of his intentions. I'll assume that was a wish and not a command, Director. Pray for us, and perhaps we will see it today.
Of course. I apologize.
Tensions tighten. I try to ignore the two of them as I look through the opposite window. It seems as though this tunnel goes around the whole chamber, allowing for sightlines from all angles. Angles of whatever it is that I'm looking at here. Seems like I'm unsure about a lot of things here, and worryingly enough, I'm not the only one. Although I guess that isn't really new information. Maeron basically told me that like a week ago. It's still unsettling to hear that from Tyr though, the one man that I'd expect more from on this. You know, this might be the one time that I'd actually be okay with him lying to me about something, even if it just gives him the illusion of control. From my perspective and his. So, is it on already? Like generating power and such? Snapped out of my stupor, I didn't even realize that I was interrupting. Rhyss responds.
Oh, I believe so. Director Seno, the machine is running already, correct?
You'd have to be more specific. There are myriads of machines making sure everything here is running. If you're referring to the Maeron, then yes, it's on. Although I'd advise against using that ideology when referring to it, as while it may be on, it can never be truly, fully off. This is far beyond whatever conventional technology you'd be capable of comparing it to. The best analogy that we've managed to come up with, loose as it may be, is one of staring at the sun through a telescope or a camera. The smaller the aperture used, the darker it would be, and the less power it would generate, the larger the opposite. We can simply adjust the aperture, but we cannot remove the sun.
So, is that why the cage breaks in two, to allow more or less energy out?
Well, no. Like I said, it's not the best analogy. Simply out of confusion or disappointment, Rhyss gently scoffs as we're all cut off by the sound of an alarm and a voice coming over the loudspeakers.
Core exposure is under a minute. Station's final check. Waiting approval.
Walking over to a receiver, Tyr depresses the button and responds. That was a fast warm-up. Check some on variance?
6%.
I suppose that's within acceptable range. I'll be there in a tick. Turning to us, he claps his hands and cocks his head. This is where I'll have to leave you for a moment, as I am needed in the control room. The exit is behind you if anything were to happen, but otherwise please don't wander. I'll be back once things are running smoothly.
Of course. May the eye be in your favor.
Unable to respond, he nods his head as he walks down the hallway, turning out and up some stairs.
Well, this is exciting, no?
Yeah. Bit scary?
Perhaps. Still, I am glad that you could be here with me.
Why?
Because you deserve to be here.
A confused stare garners no answers, as the shepherd's eyes are understandably locked on the small metal box, not by some 30 feet away. The massive arms on the top of the room begin to move in tandem, angling themselves perpendicular to the strange geometry of the cage. It's an uneasy and forced lockstep, 2 dancers and yet 1 participant. As the internal clock begins to tick down in my head, I find myself grasping at something, anything to hold on to. My arms tuck into my chest in lieu of anything palpable, preparing for the worst.
Cage? Stable.
Tyr's voice barks on the loudspeaker.
Magna armature? In position. Stage? Set. Prepare. Initiating sequence.
At first a hush and then a hum, as a cold blast shoots down the halls. A gale, but without the breeze. For the silence that follows feels fallow, a loss of senses brought on by the cold departure. A cracking hiss as pistons roar. The armature snaps to life, twitching like the limbs of a dying bug. Writhing in anger, the arms line up, pushing down further, centering the core. Lights dance as unseen forces play, casting shadows on the walls that would impress even Plato. But despite our depths, this is no cave, and it is the sun, not the shadows that play folly. But I have seen the fire, I have seen the sun, I have seen... A light shatters, peppering the hallway in glass. Grimmer reflections dance in the following debris, painting a lurid yet vibrant constellation across every surface of this desolate place, if only until the glass hits the floor. Now might not be the best time for revelation, but I suddenly understand why they go through so many lights here. My eyes never leave the room though, heartbeat skipping seconds as I dare time to move slower. Sweat drips down from clammy skin as my last nerve is coming to its end. A light, ever so faint, emerging from a crack in the cage. It's barely that, even of a thin line of white cutting across the device. A pinprick into an aperture, into... I find myself breathing again as the alarm calms. My blood flows and a voice comes over the speaker. Stable at 1.3%. Good work. A few whoops and barks are heard from down the hall, as clearly the rest have made it out. But what of the sun? Well, I suppose that's something. I think my heart almost stopped. That was terrifying. I say in a voice that couldn't be flatter. Yes, although I did expect quite a bit more for all the fanfare. But oh, look, I can still hear you just fine. Well, that's something, I guess. Rhyss, finally prying his eyes away from the stage, turns to me with a faint smile, his hands unclasped. Although his thumb rubs over his palm, massaging what pain I can only imagine came from clasping them too tight. It is wonderful though, even now. Looking closer and with my wits about me, I can see that the lights seem to not only come from the crack, but run along it. Beams move in a pattern that with and against each other, running and dancing, prying fingers testing the limits of their cage. It's pretty, yeah. Clear dread poorly hidden, Rhyss doesn't push further, opting instead to lay a comforting paw on my shoulder instead. Standing in the suddenly dim room, it feels as though minutes pass as we watch the light silently, perhaps finally understand some small fraction of the reality in front of us. That or we're both too afraid to move. Gently shaking off his paw, I walk forward, only a foot or two from the glass, and break the silence. Thank you. For today. I don't face him and the words come out colder than I'd like. Of course, Comet. I want to trust you, Rhyss. I really do. I can see the shadow, reflection of his head cock ever so slightly in the window. And I think I do. But this world, this machine, all of this, I say, throwing my arms up and turning to him. It scares me. Not to inaction, rarely to anger, A low hum cuts our pause, enough to drown out noise, but not though. His calm only slightly cracked, his tone still immaculate, he responds. There are times in life where fear can become our weapon. It can be the hand that kills inaction, or the push to keep us going. Rarely, though, are those times thought of fondly, and rarer yet are they remembered. I do not want to incense that I brought you here today to impose this upon you, nor that I had any unspoken motives, simply that it is something that I thought that you had the right to see. When I said that I wanted to bring hope to those who have lost it, I meant you as well, Comet. And perhaps I am just a fool, but I feel as though it is something that you're sorely lost. Or rather, something taken from you. Please don't interpret this as a slight. There is life behind your eyes, and that is beautiful, but I worry how long it can last. I only wish to see that warmth flourish, but I understand the circumstances at which I've come to you under, and the position that I am in. Whether you trust me or not,
It is still a decision that I am proud that you managed to come to. Just know that I will be there to help either way.
Options on options on options. 1,000 words in my mind and yet none come out. His faint smile smells saccharine as my voice remains a hollow tomb. Endless answers play in my mind and yet… fuck it. Trust and hope are of the same stock, both ephemeral, both can be twisted and easily broken. Can you give me something real, tangible? That's all that I ask.
I can only give you my word.
Then tell me those words. What did you say to Tyr? Far more capable of thought than I am, he softly scoffs and responds.
Trust can be given and it can be earned. It can rarely be taken. I am happy to impart what I said to him upon you, but with it comes my trust as well. Trust that you will keep what I said in confidence, shared with only those who need to know.
I follow.
Good. You should have bargained for more. It's such a paltry thing. I almost feel silly about it.
His marble tone replaced with a soft smile. His shoulders loosen as he calmly walks over to me.
I kid, of course, but I really don't think that it's such of great importance. What I told him was that…
As an ear turns to the noise, I sigh, as I know whatever it is to be said will have to wait. But through the sound of broken glass, a murmur is heard. Damn things, we really need to invest in better bulbs. Ah, there you are, Director. Well, did it live up to your expectations?
And then some. Thank you for allowing us this viewing.
Rhyss gently gestures to me as well, and I do my best to look impressed. I don't think that I pull it off. I'm glad to hear that. In truth, some directors have told me that they found it almost disappointing. I'm glad that you're more open to such things.
Oh, of course, Director. It was stunning, truly.
3. That's the third lie. 3 strikes and… What? Well, now that things have settled, I should have a bit more time to give you a debrief if you were curious about anything.
In fact, I was. Could you explain how…
A whisper dances in a windless space as I turn my head to face nothing. The halls are empty, but I can still hear conversations from further down. This was not that. Unwilling to listen to Tyr ramble any further, I step away, taking one last look at the thing in front of me. Who knows when I'll see it again, if ever. I haven't had much time to process it, as I wasn't expecting to be here today. But this is it. This is the thing that ended my life. But Rhyss said it first and Tyr said it best. It'd be fucking stupid to blame it. What good would it do? Even yelling at Tyr feels empty. Not that I've tried enough yet. Maybe Rhyss was right. Maybe I have lost hope. Taking a step forwards, I'm face to face with the glass, and reflections scared away by my presence. It just hums. It doesn't even work properly. It's a guess, a shot in the dark, an educated one at best, and more than likely not simply a dangerous one. Cold logic dictating cold light. Broken things seem to stick together though. Putting my head on the glass, I'm surprised at how warm it is. It's not hot, nowhere near, but with how cold everything else is, I just assumed. Still, breath fogs the glass as blood settles, a palpable and ragged rhythm. I'm not sure how much more I can… A shrill voice comes over the intercom, snapping 3 heads in its direction.
Senno? Sir?
Bemused, Tyr walks over once again and depresses a small red button. Yes?
We're up to 1.5 already. Should I prepare any guards?
That's… faster than expected. Just set the armature in place. Slowly after the order is given, the arms align once again, pressing up against some invisible wall.
This is still within expectations, is it not?
Well, yes. Anything below 3% should be manageable. This kind of fluctuation can be due to a multiple of things, let alone any of the new neurals that I had to install to. 2.3. Sir, it's rising at a steady pace, but no orders were. No, they weren't. Can you give me a readout on anything? I can't check from... Red lights pump through the halls as blood and artery. Something's wrong. Report. It just spiked. We're reaching 3% already. What should we... Close the damn thing. Magnet armature at full TSI. I barely notice as he rushes next to me, throwing himself against the glass. The massive arms begin to press down, their forces crushing the railing around the stage, and yet that little light shows. 4.1. It doesn't seem bothered at all. The small radio glow barely changed from when we first saw it. When I first saw it. A pinprick. By the void. 6.5. Growth seems to have become exponential. What should... Descend. Lower the stage 3 levels, now. The room shakes as massive gears begin to grind. Rhyss, seemingly absent until now, steps to my other side, ice cold and distant. He speaks no words. The room continues to shake as the stage begins to slowly descend, but it only gets about a foot or so before stopping. I said 3 floors, damn it, not 3 feet. It's stuck. Something's wrong with the... Sir, it's... Beautiful. Furious Senno's head snaps to Rhyss only to follow his gaze to... well, something. The cage has cracked. Not in the sense that it's broken, but the two halves have almost entirely disengaged. In the center, where there was a small glow, looks to be a small white stone. An aperture. Or something like that. It's too hard to see from here. Where one sees beauty, the other's, well... Tyr looks aghast, his jaw slack and face pale. 11%. I repeat, 11. We've exceeded expected limits. Prepare emergency procedures. As magnitude to an earthquake, the room begins to shake. Glass shards rise up, reflecting grim shadows once more, as the definition of down seems to have been lost. Eyes watering and unfocused as more and more of the white light bathes the room. His shoulders go slack as he looks to his empty hands. Something important is whispered, but you don't hear it. Listlessly, he raises a paw to the intercom and presses the button once more. 15. The voice barely coming through at this point. Emergency procedures, code Verdandi. Prepare to detach from the station. Sir? Now, damn it! Pipes hiss as things around us begin to buckle. Worried whoops turn into screams as the red blends with the white, but the glass is so warm. You haven't moved, and neither has Rhyss. What are... Sir, I don't... Void, please. Just tell me it's... stable. A paw wipes away premature tears as he whispers out, a confused... What? There's no fluctuations, no surges. All readings nominal. It's... working? Wet eyes glint in the light as a spark slowly returns. What? What's the percentage? 17, no, 18%, and rising. Belay detachment. Keep the protocols ready though. Tentatively, he steps back beside you, watching, hand on the button to reply. The alarms are still deafening, but easily drowned out by the droning of static. Cut shapes seem to appear in its glow, only to disappear moments later. How could anyone fathom to understand such a thing? Are we getting data? What's the percentage? The numbers look readable, and it's still climbing. It's almost 19% of expected, sir. We're having to vent excess. What should we do? Into? The damage to the station seems to be minimal, and I don't have any serious reports from up top yet, but... More. Wiser words do not prevail, as there's no time for subtlety on the brink of success. Lifetimes of work condensed into one word. Sir? More! I've waited cycles for this. I don't want to squander it now. Fraying into something dangerously close to delirium, his nails press against the glass as dead eyes stare hungrily at the sun. It's not warm though, not for him, although you're not feeling so good either, are you? You only seem to be realizing it now as your knees buckle and you collapse into the glass. The other two are too blinded to notice, but I did. Comet? When shall we meet again? The whole station's lit up, sir. Everything's running at maximum output. It's not warm. It's burning. Comet? It's not light. It's something more. Turn it off, Senno. It's not a sun. It's... in thunder, lightning, or all rain. What? 22% and rising. Collapsing backwards, you're pretty sure the last thing that you hear before your head hits the floor is a voice over the intercom, and the sound of a shepherd yelling at a madman. Turn it off! That will be the ear, the set of sun. Through sleet, through snow, through sand and ash. Hello? To be continued. Thank you for reading. Written and illustrated by Cryptid. I'd like to give credit to Tom TC, Nick Rouse, Modfall, and Bearwulff for the fantastic menu art. Thank you to Davey Odell for the music, Pierce for the menu track. Thank you to Zoe for the sound edits. Thank you all to my Patreons. This project would be impossible without your support. And special thanks to Winter Answer, Marcy, Brandel, Nefarious, Biltz, and May. May our roads again cross. So that was the end of the update, and as you can see, something is happening with the Maeron again. Not only that, but it appears that Tucker is seeing the spot where he was before he was transported over to the station. I'm not certain that he's being flung over back to Earth, but perhaps something is trying to maybe communicate with him. And I also kind of get the feeling that the Maeron, as well as the weird mascot monster thingy, are connected in some way, and that perhaps whatever it is that happened that brought Tucker over created the mascot, and perhaps it wants Tucker to reunite it with something or other. I don't really know. I mean, considering the fact that they call the Shalom or whatever, the cage or whatever, a cage, it kind of is very telling of the fact that perhaps maybe the Maeron is itself sentient in a way. Also considering the fact that Senno said that it's a little bit unpredictable and sometimes it likes to test the limits of how far it can go before it has to be caged again. So perhaps it is something that is living, but it is something that the Karain that have it caged, quote unquote, caged up, don't really know how to perceive it. And perhaps that's why Tucker is here. Maybe he's the only one that can actually, in some way, shape, or form, communicate with it. We don't really know yet. I would hazard a guess that the only reason that it's acting up right now is probably because Tucker is in its presence. So he probably has something to do with it. maybe the Maeron, whatever it is that is within the cage, that little tiny little dot thingy, is connected to the star, the eye, the filament, whatever it's called. But who knows? We'll just have to see as the story progresses. Well, what are your thoughts so far on what's happening, on what this Maeron actually is or whatever? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you would like to play Roads Yet Traveled yourself, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download and play the game yourself. If you would like to support the project, consider becoming a Patreon like me, which gives you earlier access to builds of Roads Yet Traveled, and sometimes does give you works in progress of, like, maybe sometimes when you have to introduce a new character, you get to see them before everyone else. And you get to read the builds usually like 2 or 3 weeks in advance, because I know he doesn't do like the whole 1 month space, which he probably should. I mean, it would give him more time to work, but like, whatever. I can't really convince him to do that yet, but yeah. So yeah, you know, consider becoming a Patreon if you like this visual novel. And if you like my videos and would like to support me, consider becoming a channel member, which gives you earlier access to the videos as they're being scheduled. And like I said with the previous video that I did, like literally that I did an hour and 35 minutes ago, I am recording this on April the 6th, but it is probably not going to come out until probably May the 6th or whatever, because there's already a lot of stuff scheduled for the month of April. So this is going to come out until May. So anybody that is just a subscriber or just happens to find it is not going to see it until May. But people who are channel members get to watch it probably on the 8th, maybe the 9th, depending on how busy I am. Pretty much when I'm done editing it and then upload it. So yeah, you'll get to watch it way sooner. But yeah, do that. And if you can't do that, but you still want to support, there is a Ko-fi. Any form of support is appreciated. You know, give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do have a throne too, in case you're feeling overly generous, but I know that times are really tough because of a certain orange, dementia-riddled man. So, you know, it's okay. But anyways, I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.